Dear students, I, Mr. Vishal Shah, Assistant Professor, Krishna Institute of Pharmacy, Karad, once again welcome you all this second video of the atomic absorption spectroscopy. In previous video, we have discussed about the introduction as well as the principle involved in the atomic absorption spectroscopy. Also, we have seen the difference between the flame emission spectroscopy and atomic absorption spectroscopy. So, in this video, we are going to discuss the advantages and the disadvantages of the atomic absorption spectroscopy, and just we will see the instrumentation, that is the construction as well as the working of the atomic absorption spectrophotometer. Now, if you are coming first time to this my YouTube channel, I request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get the more videos related to the instrumental methods of analysis. If you have not watched previous videos, you can watch the previous videos also. If you like the content of this channel, you can share with your friends. So let's begin with our today's session. First, we will see advantages of atomic absorption spectroscopy over the flame emission spectroscopy. The atomic absorption spectroscopy technique is specific because the atoms of a particular element can only absorb radiation of their own characteristic wavelength. Means here atoms of particular element only. Means for example sodium. If we are interested in determining the amount of sodium, that particular sodium, the radiations that are emitted from the sodium, that will be only absorbed by the sodium which is present in the ground state. So that's why this is a very specific technique. The converse is also true. That is, light of a particular frequency can easily be absorbed by the specific element to which it is characteristic. Spectral interferences which occur in flame emission spectroscopy therefore occur rarely. So, spectral interferences, this is the disadvantage of flame emission spectroscopy. While studying flame emission spectroscopy, we have seen that certain interferences, in that spectral interferences was one of that. So, this will occur very less in case of atomic absorption spectroscopy. Now, because of the much larger number of metal atoms that contribute to the atomic absorption signal, variation in flame temperature shows relatively less effect in the atomic absorption spectroscopy as compared to the flame emission spectroscopy. Here what happens, in case of flame emission spectroscopy, those atoms which go to the excited state while coming to the ground state, these atoms only emit the photons. Major portion of atoms will remain in the ground state and they are not involved in this particular process, and due to which the results may vary. But here what happens, as the most of the metal atoms are remaining in the ground state, so all atoms will contribute to the atomic absorption signal, and that's why the variation in flame temperature show very less effect in the atomic absorption spectroscopy. Now, in flame emission spectroscopy, in which the smaller number of atoms are producing the emission signal, due to which the flame temperature shows a relatively more effect. In short, it means that atomic absorption spectroscopy is dependent on the flame temperature. In terms of detection limits, atomic absorption and flame emission are quite similar. That is, some elements possesses lower detection limits by flame emission and others by the atomic absorption. So in this case, both are lying on the same platform. In terms of detection limits, atomic absorption and flame emission are quite similar. Means some element possesses lower detection limits by the flame emission spectroscopy, while some elements possesses the lower detection limits by the atomic absorption spectroscopy. Now we will see the disadvantage of atomic absorption spectroscopy over the or you can say advantages of the flame emission spectroscopy. A separate lamp for each element to be determined is required. An attempt is being made these days to overcome this difficulty by using continuous source with a very high resolution monochromators, or alternatively to produce a line source by introducing the flame. So this is the major disadvantage, that we will require separate lamp, because lamp should produce the light, or it will emit the light of specific frequency only, and for that purpose this particular there is need to carry out the determination of separate lamp. Otherwise, if we use the common lamp, then we have to use high resolution monochromator, which will carry out the separation of the emitted light from the radiation source into its individual component. This technique cannot be used very successfully for estimation of elements like aluminum, then Ti, that is the tungsten, W, molybdenum, Si, because these elements give rise to the oxides in the flame, and due to which these elements are not estimated by using this particular technique. However, we can carry out the estimation of these elements under the modified conditions. So these are the various disadvantages of atomic absorption spectroscopy. Also, in aqueous solutions, the predominant anion affects the signal to the negotiable degree. Now, after the disadvantages of atomic absorption spectroscopy, next point that we will discuss is instrumentation. Now, there are various components that are present in the atomic absorption spectrophotometer. These are include radiation source, then flame, that you can say burners that are used. These burners are used as in case of the flame emission spectroscopy, then prism or the monochromator system, and the detectors. Now, first major component is the radiation source. In most of the common instruments, hollow cathode lamp is used as a radiation source. Here it consisting of anode and the cathode, which is having a cylindrical cathode. In detail, we will see construction of hollow cathode lamp in detailed discussion, but from radiations are emitted from the hollow cathode lamp. Then this particular atomic absorption spectroscopy or spectrophotometer is consisting of a burner. Now here you can see this particular burner, which is having a source from which the acetylene and air, means oxidant, as well as the fuel is introduced at the bottom of this particular burner. Also here there is one entry point is there, from which the sample solution will enter into this particular burner. Means with the help of the nebulizer, like in flame emission spectroscopy, that particular solution will be aspirated into the burner, where the liquid will be converted first into liquid droplets. Further, liquid droplets will be converted into the gaseous form, and once they are converted into the gaseous form, they will be introduced into the flame. So in this flame, the heating of that particular atoms will be carried out, and further what happens, they will go to the excited state, some elements will emit. Now here, whatever the amount of energy or the light that is emitted is absorbed by the elements that are present in the ground state. Further, the remaining amount of light will be transmitted, it is passed through the slits, and further it will be fall over the prisms or the grating, or the monochromators are used. From gratings it will be passed again to the exit slit, and they will reach, radiations will reach to the photocells, which are used as a detector. So this is the in detail construction and the working of instrumentation is there. Here what happens, as we are going to use the hollow cathode lamp, it will emit the certain amount of energy. The sample that is to be introduced in the flame, first it will be converted into the droplets. Further, these droplets will be converted into the gaseous form, and further this gaseous form of the atoms will be introduced into the flame, where in flame excitation is carried out, and those elements which are present in the ground state, they will carry out the absorption of certain amount of energy which will be passed towards the prism or the monochromators, and from monochromators it will go towards the photocell where the absorption is measured. Now, first major component that is present in the absorption spectrophotometer is radiation source. We will discuss about this radiation source. The radiation source that is used for atomic absorption spectrophotometer should emit intense radiations of the element to be determined. Usually, a resonance line of the element is required. Preferably, the resonance lines should be narrow as compared with the width of the absorption lines to be measured. These lines should not be interfered from other spectral lines which are not resolved by the spectrophotometer. There should be no general background or other extraneous lines emitting within the band pass of the monochromator. The problem of using such narrow spectral lines has been resolved by adopting a halo cathode lamp as a radiation source. Halo cathode lamp is the one of the major radiation source that is used in case of atomic absorption spectrophotometry. So we will discuss that halo cathode lamp in the next video. So here in this video we have covered about the advantages and disadvantages of atomic absorption spectroscopy, as well as we have seen how the construction and the working of the atomic absorption spectrophotometer will works. In detail, which are the components, halo cathode lamp, that is the radiation source, monochromators, photocells, burners that are used, that we will discuss in the next video. Thank you. If you like the content of this video, you can share with your friends to get more videos related to the instrumental methods of analysis. Thank you.